Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the TripleJump podcast. It's a video game podcast. My name is Ben.
My name is Peter.
And my name is Ashton.
We're
welcome
all here.
back, Peter.
Hooray!
Oh my gosh, it's great to be back. Hello.
Hello, Peter.
Hello.
Back reunited.
Yeah.
How was your holiday?
Yeah.
It was very nice, thank you. Yeah, because we've not had a crossover period, have we?
No, I haven't really seen you.
I did see you after you got back from Japan, but we didn't do a podcast in the interim.
No.
So it's been weeks since we've all been here together. I had a very nice time, thank you. Took my wife to a spa hotel for her 30th birthday.
Nice.
And just switched off and didn't play games for like 10 days.
Nice.
I'm not saying that's a good thing. Like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
I was able to, but you know.
It's nice to
Free
get
me
away.
from
I
this
just
gaming
got, it
prison.
was a different world. You know, I was a bit kind of off grid in terms of gaming news, and you know, and then I came back to this wonderful world with my friend and colleague, and here I am.
Yes.
And you had a good time, as I know, Ashton.
Yes, I did.
On your trip.
A lovely time.
Shing.
Swing.
Swing. Oh yeah, did you? I missed the announcement, the podcast announcement.
Yeah, I did announce it.
Yeah, I'm sure you
They
did.
know.
Mm-hmm.
And
We're
so
all
does
aware
everyone
now.
here.
Swing.
Peter, at one point, we were recording a news just as I got back from Japan, and he sort of...
After you posted about it
After
on
I posted
social
about it on
media.
social media, he sort of like said it in the video, and then he went, "Oh wait, I don't know if you want to. Should we start again?"
So it was out there, and we were doing the intro, and I went, and I believe Ashton has a bit of news of her own. And I was like, you've not actually talked about it on video yet. I'll let you do that on your terms rather than tell them.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Something did happen though while you were away.
Mm-hmm.
It was your birthday.
It was my birthday.
Oh my God.
It was my birthday.
I'll be back.
Oh my
Did
God.
you forget it?
did. Ashton, you tried some delicious burgers, right?
Yeah, I did. I ate some burgers at the weekend.
What?
I went to Battle of the Burgers
Where's that?
at Wyland Brewery in Newcastle.
Oh, okay.
I'm feeling for time now.
Yeah, plural burgers.
Yeah, so there's like loads and loads of burger vans.
Okay.
And then you get tokens for $5, and you go and just get as many burgers as you want, and then you try them all.
How big are they?
Some of them are bigger than others. One of them's like normal sized burger. The other one I had was called the Big Maco. It was like a taco
Oh,
burger,
nice.
and it was good.
I like it.
My fiance got one, and I let him try mine, and then just I was like, "Can I try yours?" He'd scoffed his whole burger.
Oh no.
So I was like, "I can't believe he didn't even save me a morsel of food."
Like that dog where the guy, he hands it a Big Mac
And he
or something, he
goes,
says gentle, and it inhales it.
Yeah,
Have
basically
you
that.
talked about this on the previous podcast when Ben says he's just
I
heard
don't
about that?
think so. I don't remember. I told him about it just like in
And he's just
conversation.
asking, okay, I thought, are we sitting here and people are watching you tell me something they already know?
No, they don't know this.
Okay, that's good.
No, this is breaking news.
Breaking
I ate
news.
burgers at the weekend.
Ashton's engaged and she ate burgers.
Yeah, it's true. These things. Why don't you just tell me more about your holiday? Where did you go? Because
We went down to the Cotswolds.
Lovely.
Because Amy is, would you believe, in some ways even more into history and heritage than I am.
Mm-hmm.
And she's always wanted to go to known slightly problematic man but war hero Winston Churchill's family home.
Yeah.
So we went there. And we had a lovely afternoon tea.
Yeah.
That was on her birthday. Went out for dinner in the evening. But yeah, we had about 4 or 5 nights there in a spa hotel.
In the spy hotel.
In a
Spy
spy hotel,
hotel.
yeah, sneaking around. You have to like type codes in to get through your door.
That would actually be sick.
Yeah, it would actually be sick. We should do that.
Anyway, enough about that, Peter. It was your birthday while you were away.
It was.
And we got you something.
We were so prepared. It took me like
God.
6 tries to get through the door
I'm
next
so
door.
sorry.
Couldn't get in.
I meant to be like, have you got it? But
I should have
normally one of
remembered.
us just smuggles it in, so
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
even think about it. Here's your birthday
Oh,
present,
Thank you.
wrapped really
I was
nicely.
about to say that's going
in
to
the
be
box.
impossible to
Beautifully-
open.
In the
but
box it
beautifully
came
wrapped.
in.
It has already been.
It has the
we had
work
to-
address on it,
we
doesn't
had
it?
to
Not
ch-
my
yeah, it's
personal
the
home
work
address.
address.
Okay,
Okay,
as
that's
I just
fine.
flash it.
That's all right then.
We had to check it was the right thing.
Okay.
And the quality was good.
Oh, and the quality's top notch.
Yeah.
You've got quite the budding collection. We're just happy to
Contribute
Yeah.
in our own way.
Oh,
What is it?
okay. Here he goes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's actually
I
horrible.
think I may have had one of these. No, I don't know if I did. Not a sticky tongue one.
Oh, I don't know if it's sticky anymore.
Yeah.
Shall I open it? Shall I take it out of its original wrapping?
It's
Tell us what it
completely
is
up to
first,
you.
though.
I'm not holding it to the camera. It's a an exclusive Jar Jar sticky tongue toy, Star Wars Episode 1. And on the front, it has the strangest looking boy.
Yeah.
using
It does, doesn't it?
It's me.
Yeah, it's you. That's what
And
I
it's-
said. It's your vibe.
It's Walker's Crisps branded.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, yeah, it is Walker's.
And he's
Did
got this big horrible tongue.
Yeah, big curly tongue like he does in the film. And
Jar Jar can't resist appetite.
now, these ring a bell. I think I might have... On the back, it has the food that he licks from the market stall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A weird fish thing.
And I'm sure I've had sticky versions of those before. Did someone send them as tat or... I don't know. But, in any case, we've got some quotes on the back.
Yeah.
With his long, slippery tongue, Jar Jar Binks' trademark can't resist intergalactic snacks from succulent skewered frogs to tantalizing Tatooine plums. Misa doing nothing.
Oh, no.
No.
He's doing nothing.
You can't. No.
Oh, God.
He's those plums. He loves those Tatooine plums.
I love the use of trademarks in any Star Wars merchandise.
Yeah.
Push out the images above of Jar Jar's trademark favourite frog snacks and lay them out on a flat surface.
Oh, so you don't even get the food. You have to cut out the cardboard.
You cut
Yeah.
that out,
Oh.
and then you have to aim him at the cardboard. And
so we can use his
and
Jar
grab
Jar
it.
trademark sticky tongue toy.
yeah, oh God.
Do you like it?
I love it.
Yeah. Do you like it?
I love it. I'm just so torn as to whether to take it out of its original
Well, we
wrapping.
never intended for you to take it out of the packaging. There's no pressure from us.
You don't have to take it out of the packaging.
Oh, I don't know.
Give it a sniff. It smells like it's been in someone's garage for 20
Yeah.
years.
What
not
baffled
smelling that
me
much.
is like
Oh.
how it's probably
Thought
because
it
it's
smelled-
been in the box for another
Yeah, maybe
3
that's true.
weeks.
Oh, the box smells a bit like... It smells like old shells that you bring home from the beach.
Oh, it does smell a bit like seaside. Why is
Seaside,
that?
I don't know.
There's sort of like a
I
sea
think it's the,
salty-
it's the paper, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a salty sea foam smell.
Yeah, when you have a bin bag full of shells in your garage for a little while.
Yeah, absolutely know what that is.
We
like.
always have those.
Yeah.
I'll keep it preserved.
Yeah.
Okay,
At least
good
for
call.
now.
Somebody did keep it preserved for a long time and then decided to sell it on eBay.
Yeah.
And then we got it.
Yeah.
It does say at the top, Jar Jar can't resist appetite,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that means.
Yeah. So do you
wow.
reckon that's something that someone bought enough packets of Walker's Crisps and like collected tokens and
Maybe
sent
that's why it
off,
smells
maybe?
salty.
Did they give
Maybe.
it? Was it in a packet of crisps?
Maybe a really big one.
Yeah, really a gigantic share packet of crisps.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday,
For
Peter.
last week.
Oh, one last thing.
Yeah, oh yeah.
This is a message for everyone's life.
Okay.
Care instructions. If tongue becomes dirty, rinse in warm, non-soapy water.
Right.
Allowed to dry before use. And tongue may discolor porous surfaces if left in contact for long periods.
Oh, interesting.
It's got a bleaching tongue.
Yeah, that's frightening, isn't it?
Wow.
Well, that is wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
My
You're
Jar
so
Jar
welcome.
collection groweth.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
I don't know if I've told you. I keep meaning to post a picture of it, but the Jar Jar drinking glass that you got me last year, Jar Jar
Yeah.
Drinks,
Yeah.
as you call him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have some Jar Jar Binks socks, which may have also been most recent Tat Appeal.
Okay.
Or maybe they were from a family friend or something. And it has exactly the same PNG of his
Really?
face
Nice.
as is on the glass. So I can hold my drink next to my ankle, and it's just the same
Do you do that regularly?
all the
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Amy, look.
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 Yeah.
So cool. And now
Yeah.
you can go and poke your little tongue out and get,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know what, but you can get stuff.
I can
Bits
do
of
that.
cardboard.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Thank you so much. That's very kind.
That's
You're
all right.
welcome. You're very welcome. However, this is not our birthday podcast.
Oh.
No, or our Jar Jar Binks podcast.
Well, he may be appearing later in the podcast. Let me just say that.
Huge news.
This is our video game podcast. Each and every week, we're sponsored by a very real video game adjacent sponsor. Helps us keep that bulb on in this studio.
Still going.
Dead Island 2 The Spider is still in the studio next door. Didn't bring him around, forgot. That's my bad. We'll sort that. Peter, I believe you have the ad read in front of you now.
I've got it right here. It's been quite the week for Bethesda this week.
Bethany
Asda.
Yep.
Because not only was there a huge announcement that, again, may be talked about later in this podcast, but they've announced something else as well. Or, in fact, they're announcing it now. This is an exclusive.
Oh
my God.
Goodness me.
Bethesda are now working together with Naughty Dog
What?
on a new project.
What?
Coming soon, The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered.
Whoa!
They're doing it. They're finally doing it.
That's what I've always wanted.
Yeah.
What's
Not-
new in the remaster?
It's actually exactly the same game. but you just have to pay a bit more.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's Naughty Dog are really good at that.
Yeah, no, they are good at that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's it.
Oh.
But it's not real.
Man.
Sorry.
But you can buy The Last of Us again.
Yes. Oh, believe me, if you want The Last of Us, there are a few places you can't find it.
Yeah.
So you'll be fine.
Yeah.
No, we're not sponsored by The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered. Yep. We are, in fact, sponsored by our wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/Team TripleJump. If you go and support us there, you get access to all sorts of rewards, early, worst, and weirdest games, exclusive access to episodes of Rules Boss and Main Menu, and asking questions on this podcast. Thank you so much, patrons. We love you and we appreciate you.
Thank you.
TripleJumpShop.com if you want to buy some sick and cool merchandise. You two are, I'm actually not wearing any today.
That's all right.
Scum.
TripleJ.mup is our website. There you can find links to everything that we do. And there's a couple of things out on the channel this week. Peter Austin.
That's right. There will be a ginormous. Well, it's not that big, actually. It's smaller than some of the ones we've done, but
It's above average.
It is above average. It's a ranked list. It's every Crash Bandicoot video game ranked from worst to best.
Yes.
It's a wonderful time.
We
And,
have strong suspicions it will be ready. It's
Yeah.
so close. So we're saying that it is out.
I have strong suspicions it will annoy some Crash purists.
Oh, yeah. That's
As
half the
well.
fun of rank.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's the
it's
point.
true.
Yeah. What else, Ashton?
It's also weirdest games ever. Not weirdest. Worst games ever week.
Indeed.
Thank you. Anubis 2. Electric Boogaloo.
That's
Yeah.
it. That's right.
Was it good?
Nope.
Nope.
Is it about Egypt?
It's sort of.
Cool.
Yeah, there's certainly some motifs.
Yeah.
That's about it, though.
Is it a PlayStation 2 game?
It's a Wii. It's
Wii
a Wii
game.
game. It's a Wii game.
Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah, they're
It's
always good.
there's something special and almost weird about it, you could say, but you'll have to watch to find out.
Again?
I know, ripping it off. So go check those out on the channel. Time now, though, for question 1.
It comes from David Lever, even though it's highlighted in Ben's colour to
Oh,
read.
sorry, I haven't changed
hangover
it back.
from last
Right,
week.
yeah, no, that's fine. And David says, hello B and A and P.
Hello.
There's a new prince on the block and his name is Blue. Specifically, the Blue Prince. It's a sort of architecture-based puzzle game with roguelike mechanics, and it has taken my socials by storm. I've been avoiding spoilies, but one thing I've heard is you need to be taking notes as you go if you want a hope of solving the thing. What are your thoughts on games that require note-taking? Should it be an in-game function, or is the good old-fashioned pen/pencil/quill enough? Thanks, David.
Thanks, David.
Well, I think that was really good.
Yeah.
I think that that's quite an interesting and fun thing to have to do. Perhaps as I wouldn't like it to be commonplace in all video games. I wouldn't like to be playing like a gigantic RPG and having to write down all of my quests and notes about all that. But I think as a little kind of a gimmick almost, that's a fun thing to do. However, it would have to be. I hope that it's. The way that you've said it is it's almost news to you that you've heard. Oh, you have to take notes as you go if you want any hope of doing it. I hope the game flags it up.
It does.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
It says you should probably have a notepad at hand.
Okay.
I can't write, so I can't play this one, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, but
Well, editor Alex has been putting it in a spreadsheet.
oh really?
That's a good point.
Nerd.
Yeah.
Okay, fine then. The truth is, I don't want to have to think. So that's why I'm not playing.
Well, yeah, I think as long as the game is saying, please be taking note. It would be really bad if you got a quarter of the way through the game and they were like, I hope you wrote down that one time only code that we gave you in the first hour of the game or whatever. But it sounds like an interesting, fun thing to do. And actually, one of the games I'll be talking about in What We're Playing is I've been playing some more Atomfall this week. And it does have a system in game where all the things that you're discovering as you go along are kept in a journal. So it does that bit for you. But I have enjoyed the fact that it doesn't have a traditional quest system. There's just a series of leads that you follow, and sometimes they intertwine with others, and sometimes you might pick up a trail of clues like halfway through because you just happen to wander into the right building that is, already down this kind of quest line, if you want to call it that. And I think that's been quite a fun, flexible, different way to play a game. So it's not quite the same, but yeah, I think deviating from your traditional in-game journaling quest system is, something that is worth iterating on from time to time.
I do quite like it when games sort of require you to make notes. I've been really enjoying Blueprints. I've got scrawlings of a madman on multiple
I've just
pieces of
realised it's
paper.
Blueprints.
Yeah.
Blueprints.
Yeah.
Blueprints.
Yes.
That's it.
And to be fair, like I sort of sometimes with Blueprints, I do wish that some of the information that I find would be easier to access later on. There's certain things that you don't almost know that you've missed something until you're like 3 in-game days later and haven't found that room again. And you're like, damn it, I don't actually know what this is. So there's a few things that I wish you could still see regardless of sort of where you were in the area. It makes a big deal about the fact that you can't take anything from the house at the end of the day, so everything has to reset itself. So I've been enjoying that, and I have got lots of notes. One game that I did make a lot of notes for, which maybe you didn't have to, was Deathloop. I found that really interesting to, there was notes that you would make in game, but also other things where you're like, right, this set of beeps, let me write this down so that when I find the thing I need to find, I can go and have this information ready. So things like that I really enjoy, where it's a matter of if you want to figure something out, you can figure something out. So I like a little note taking in games. I don't love it in every game, like you say. I don't want to have like a huge open world game and there's not a quest log. I have to write down everything that's being said to me, because I haven't got the patience for that. But if it's like, oh, there's a clue in this room and you need to write it down, then I'm totally fine with it. One thing about Blueprints is that there's like certain things in every single room that you have to like look at and figure out. And that took me ages, but I had such a good time being like, I need to get to this specific area so I can find out what letter this room is. But yeah, it's good. It's been good fun and I've really enjoyed it. So I don't mind taking notes in games, and I think it's okay to ask of your players a little bit more work. Sometimes.
Sometimes. Yeah, I think it's really cool. This game sounds excellent. It is not for Ben.
Mm-hmm.
This is a not Ben game, and that's fine. I don't despise it for that. I just feel like I'm just sort of stood at the window of the house, and I'm just gazing in like, if only I knew how to read, but I can't, so I mustn't enter. I've made notes with games in the past, but increasingly, and I've spoken about it on this podcast at length over the past couple of years, I want to think in my leisure time less and fewer. Thank you. Yes. I would like to be taken on a magical journey. I don't necessarily want to be challenged. I've never really enjoyed puzzle games anyway, because I'm stupid. But especially in the past couple of years, my tolerance for that has gone massively down. Like I don't want my hand held, but also if I'm stuck in a room for more than 5 minutes, I start to not only get frustrated, but think this is kind of taking the momentum out of this game.
Yeah.
And it's kind of ruining it for me, even though it's potentially my own fault. So yeah, I think it's absolutely fine, especially in indie games like this, where they want to try interesting and unique stuff. Yeah. Do it. Make that your thing. Make that your USP, is that, you're going to have to make some notes here if you want to get through the game. I think that's absolutely fine. The last time I made proper notes for a game was probably Dark Souls 2, when I was trying to platinum trophy it, and I had a spreadsheet of all the spells, the pyromancies, the miracles, and the rings that I needed to collect, and the various locations that I would need to get them from. And I went over to my friend's house, and our goal that weekend was to get the platinum, and it involved multiple New Game Plus runs because we'd both missed, you know what flipping Miyazaki's like, even though he wasn't involved in Dark Souls 2 very heavily, where they're like, oh, unfortunately you didn't talk to this guy before fighting this boss, so he's dead now. Right. You can never see him again. Like, cool, that's great. Yeah. So now I've got to go through New Game Plus to find him again. So there was lots of that sort of stuff, and I just had this big spreadsheet of where the conditions that needed to be met to find all these things, and then slowly getting rid of them one by one. But I'm at the moment, I say for the moment, the past 4 months, I've been watching my girlfriend play Coral Island, which is her obsession at the moment. And she has, even though that game does not require note-taking at all, she has pages and pages of notes on a notepad of like, I need to plant these things in this season. This is how many I need.
Yeah.
And you should see this farm right now in Coral Island. It's basically fully automated. It's bringing in hundreds of thousands of currency every day, and it's obscene. But
when I used to play Dreamlight Valley, I would, if I like needed to write down what everyone wanted every day of like their gifts and stuff.
Yeah.
So I had my notes app had like a list of all of the people on Dreamlight Valley, and I'd be like, today he wants a tulip and a fried fish and also a shell. And I'm like, right, got to put those in my inventory. Off I trot to go and just hand it to someone and then walk back and do something else.
Yeah. But there's something to be said for that. Like that is clearly really satisfying, even in games that don't demand it. I do feel like a lot of online guides and walkthroughs and wikis now remove the necessity of that. I fully get people wanting to do it themselves, but like if I am playing similar to Coral Island, like Stardew Valley, and I need to know when someone's in a shop on a certain day, I could write it down, or I could just have a semi-permanent tab open in my phone's web browser
Yeah,
and just
like where
and just
to
go
find
and check.
money at all times.
Exactly.
Yeah, in terms of like farming games as well, I haven't necessarily used notes to track like when I should plant stuff or what items I need to take to certain people or whatever. But in Minecraft, I remember being, I think when I was a student, kind of coming up in my head with how I was going to build this sort of tree farm that would make the trees grow without too many leaves being there. I was like trying to grow the trunks like up a glass tube essentially, and then I like drew this whole thing and designed it on paper before I built it, and I found that quite satisfying as well. Yeah. So
It's cool.
Yeah, it's nice.
Remember when manuals used to have notes sections?
Yeah. I never wrote in a notes section of a manual. I
Me
would
neither.
write on a piece of paper and shove it inside the game box.
Don't want to ruin my manual.
No, exactly.
Even though half the I mean, in the UK, because we get the European version that comes in like 12 languages, our manuals are always really thick anyway. But even then, I didn't want to, take up 4 pages with my notes.
No.
Can't be doing that.
We had to write the notes in 12 languages as well, just so everyone would understand.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's only right.
The Tekken 1 manual is almost as thick as a PS1 box. It is a really heavy manual. It's like a centimeter thick,
Jesus.
which when it's, a little square, it's like a thick coaster is how thick it is.
Crash Team Racing, I seem to remember, had a really massive manual as well. I don't know why, but that's always stuck with me. I remember my cousins used to note down like door codes for Metal Gear Solid in their game manuals and things like that. But yeah, that time is sort of come and gone now, isn't it? But bring back note taking. Homework in recreational time. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
What's this, Ashton?
Well, Peter's been away, but I thought as a special birthday present, I've bought you a new segment for the podcast.
Oh, is it sticky and trademarked?
Yeah,
Okay.
It's What We Playin trademark.
It's What We Play in time. Time to talk about the games what we have been playing. Peter Austin.
Yes.
You've been hiding in a castle in the woods for the past week or so. Well, that's not true. You've been back for a little while. But you said you haven't played many things.
No.
But you may have played something.
I've played a couple of things. I was away for about 10 days without access to a console. But since I've been back, I did play a bit more Atomfall. And I imagine I must have played some before I went away, but after the most recent podcast that I was in. And I'm still having a really good time with that. I'm still just having a nice time wandering around doing anything but what is, quote unquote, the main quest line. I mean, again, it's not quite presented as a traditional series of quests, but there is a clear through line that will get you to one of the 6 endings. And I'm not really doing any of that. I'm just wandering around the countryside, looking in ruined cottages.
You're just Peter Austin.
I'm Peter Austin. So I did that for a few days after my most recent podcast episode. Then I went away for 10 days and did it in real life. And then I've come back and I've done it a bit more on Atomfall. But the other wandering around the countryside and looking in ruins I've been doing since yesterday at time of recording, when the Oblivion Remaster was announced, is playing Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered.
All I've seen is just people making the most horrific characters.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so exciting.
There's something so weird about pressing the randomize face button in that character creator, because if you shut your eyes and pressed it a bunch of times and opened your eyes and looked at the thing before you, yeah, all right, there's probably a 40% chance it looks really messed up, but actually it probably looks okay. It looks like a kind of a normal... Oh, God.
So this is my friend's one with the caption, "Taking little man to the zoo tomorrow, he's made up." And it's I think it's an orc.
An orc,
It
yeah.
was an orc anyway. It's horrifying.
So the random faces, if you just looked upon any one of the random faces, you would think, okay, that's an Oblivion NPC. They maybe look a little bit bloated or a bit skinny or whatever, but fine. But actually watching it cycle through loads of those faces and seeing their face just do this is horrifying, even if the faces you're looking at aren't that weird. It's a very strange system. But I mean, we've got a big discussion coming up about this game, so I think maybe I should leave some of my thoughts for that section.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So essentially, those are the games I've been playing, but I can't really talk about that one until a big discussion. So Ashton, what have you been playing?
I've not played that much this week because my parents were up this weekend, so I spent most of the time yapping with them. But I did play some Assassin's Creed Shadows before they arrived. I am just enjoying meandering around. I said last week I'm going to try and focus on doing the story missions. I didn't do that. I still see an exclamation mark or see a question mark, see a side mission nonsense, and I'm like, what if I just put my horse on auto follow road and just got there, and then I can just figure it out from there.
But that's okay.
And that's okay. But I need to, if I'm going to play this game, I need to start just doing the story missions because I am not doing that. And I've not achieved anything in this game, and I've been playing it for 11 hours.
Noah's going to show up for the next story mission absolutely jacked.
Yeah.
And then we're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
That classic RPG thing,
Also,
right?
like super old because we've cycled through like a full year at this
Oh my
point.
God.
And
Hasn't she got some revenge to be doing?
exactly
Just picking flowers
me
and
her,
stuff.
We're just faffing about. We're killing a lot of people, but then I'm having to go back into these big castles anyway and do the story mission. So I'm like, right, Ashton, can we focus, please? I just can't do it. It's like I'm physically incapable of doing that.
I really need to do that in Atomfall, partly just because I should finish the game and I am curious about the main story, but also because I've got Oblivion to play now as well. And we were very kindly gifted a code for Indy and His Jones on PS5.
Yeah.
Haven't even installed that because
Bloody
I've
hell.
been too flipping busy. So I need to just get Atomfall done. Yeah, it's difficult though, isn't it, when there's so many things to do?
Yeah. But the other things I played this week, I did a big charity stream on Monday.
Yes,
And
well done.
Thank you
Yes.
very much. We raised over $1,000, so that's
Amazing.
really exciting. But during the charity stream, I played some more Mario Party.
Did you win?
Winned.
She
I winned.
won.
I finally winned, and it felt really good for everyone to witness me winning. I was like, finally, my time to shine.
Nice.
I also played some Jackbox and some GeoGuessr. But the one thing I did play on the stream, which I'm a little bit disappointed about, is Choo Choo Charles. I played like 2 hours of it on stream, and I really wanted to play this game when it came out. Like, I was really excited about it, and I just haven't really got around to playing it. But played it on stream, and I was just a bit disappointed. I only got harassed by Choo Choo Charles one time in the full 2 hours I was playing it. And then, like, I shot him a bit and he ran off. But, like, I was like, I was sort of just trundling around on my little train for most of the time, just, like, tootling around, blowing my horn, and he was completely ignoring me. So maybe I just need to play it a bit more and give it more of a go. But, I was a bit disappointed by my first sort of taste of Choo Choo Charles.
Yeah, I thought it would be like one of those, a bit like Slender or something, where just constantly, in the space of 5 minutes, you will see him again.
This is what I thought, because I was getting off of my train a lot and like wandering about the place and doing little missions and stuff. And I thought, I hope it doesn't come now because I'm really far away. I'm going to have to run really fast to get back to my train and then start shooting him. But no, he didn't. He only spawned one time. I don't know if I was just missing him, and maybe he was spawning, but I was just ignoring him and just trundling off. But yeah, that was a bit of a shame, but hopefully I'll play some more of it and maybe I'll like it. But there is just so much other stuff to play. I've got to finish Blueprints, Assassin's Creed Shadows, I've got to toddle around in for a bit more. I played South of Midnight on my stream last week, playing some more this week, and that's been really good. I've been really enjoying that. So, man, I need to just like find some time to play other stuff. But there's not really that much coming out at the moment that I'm sort of like desperate to play. I've got Expedition 33,
Yep.
which has been thoroughly mugged off.
It has, yeah. It's had its breakfast eaten by Oblivion.
Yeah. But hey, I'm sure something will come out soon, and I'll be like, I'm not playing these games anymore. I'm moving on. But yeah, that's what I've been playing this week. What have you been playing?
I played a few things. I actually played some Still Wakes the Deep, which I was really impressed by. I liked that a lot, and I enjoyed the sort of cosmic entity of the horror at the heart of it. You finished Still Wakes the Deep?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, really good. I would like to try and finish that.
It's real
at some point.
spooky.
Yeah, I didn't feel that spooked, to be honest.
Oh.
I don't know if it's just. I don't know because I felt the same after Silent Hill 2 as well. And like,
Where did you finished it?
not finished it. No.
Where are you up to?
The helicopter just took off.
Right. Okay.
Does it get spookier than that?
Well, I guess if you haven't sort of been spooked out by like the atmosphere of the sort of like guys clanging around.
The thing is, it's weird because I'm looking at it, and it was the same with Silent Hill 2. I can appreciate that this is horror, but at the same time not be scared by it, if that makes sense.
That's fair.
And that's not me going so strong, so brave. It's just like, I don't know. It didn't really like. It's cool. Like I'm in a spooky place, but I'm not actually scared.
Well, I wasn't like shivering in my
No,
boots,
of course.
but I just was like, it made me jump, and I was like tense.
Mm-hmm. I really like it though.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It's
and
really good.
I'm preferring it to Silent Hill 2.
I've not played Silent Hill 2, but I did really enjoy Still Wakes.
It's cool. So. That studio is excellent, and
they're independent now.
are they?
Chinese Room, yeah.
Brilliant. Oh, I can't wait to see what they do next. But hopefully play some more of that at some point. I played a little bit of Minecraft, sort of wandered around aimlessly, and then was like, and then turned it off. It didn't really do anything of note. I have finally played the new Call of Duty Zombies map, which is in my hope for the longest time, because the last map was crap, in my opinion, is that they would return to sort of traditional zombies type maps where it's just like, here's a location that's horrible and it's got blood everywhere and it's nasty.
Yeah.
And that's what they've done. They literally made a Resident Evil house. That's what they did. It's a big mansion. There's laboratory stuff and experimental things in the basement. The ground floor and the first floor are all sort of bloodied up and destroyed. Looks a bit stately home-ish, but they have like there are literally rooms that I walked into and was like, this looks like the Spencer Mansion. Right. Like there's a bit where there's a staircase that comes down the side, and then just the angle when I walked in, I was like, I've been in this room before. They even had like a little greenhouse area. Where it's like, I was attacked by killer plants in this place.
Yeah.
I've been to this place. So that was really fun. I really enjoyed playing in that map. And they've replaced the, you know how they used to have dogs that come in at round 5 and you kill them, you get the max ammo. And then in this one, they have like the little bugs that either fly or crawl towards you. They've replaced them now with basically glowing ones from Fallout, like these horrible glowing ghoul things that have stink coming off them, and they run faster than you.
I thought they used to have those.
Did they?
I seem to remember when it was like, the barn one. Do you remember the barn one?
On this one or an older one?
No, an older one. I want to say like Modern Warfare 1 or some nonsense. But
right.
There used to be, I feel like, running ones with glowing eyes. I feel like that's maybe not a new kind of zombie.
Okay.
Maybe you're thinking of Resident Evil 7.
Yes, they were. These guys are entirely glowing, so their entire body is glowing yellow. But maybe they've been in before, but they're awful. Like I was downed by them more so than any of the regular enemies. They've got this horrible like floating wizard man who's really strong, and he summons guys to fight you. And yeah, like I was just really impressed by the location, and I really enjoyed playing that. Played a tiny bit of Warzone, got my ass kicked, so not going to talk about that. Also played, because it was WrestleMania this weekend. Just gone. I played some WWE 2K25 and
Getting in the spirit of things.
Exactly. And I also, because the PS3 was hooked up, put in WWE 13 just because I felt like seeing who was on the roster and had a little play with that, and that was good fun too. Did you know the Great Khali killed a guy once? I didn't. Now I do. Okay. The main thing though that I played is he was a wrestler in WWE 13.
Okay.
He was sort of ridiculed because he was kind of crap. He's like this. He's one of those guys who's like freakishly tall, and apparently he killed someone. In his Wikipedia page, murders. It wasn't a murder, apparently. It was an accident in the ring and the guy died.
Oh, okay.
And it was like...
Not like Leslie Grantham, who actually shot a man.
No, not like Leslie Grantham. The Great Khali killed a guy. So that's something that's been going around my head all weekend is, the Great Khali killed a guy?
I'm going to look this guy up. Was he in Indiana Jones? Was he that big guy?
The Great Khali.
I don't know, man.
He was in The Longest Yard.
They do. There is a god referred to. He says, "Prepare to meet Khali."
No, I'm pretty sure
That's
is
him.
in. Yeah.
Oh.
I think this guy was in.
He's been in lots of movies because he's massive.
Yeah, I think he was in Temple of Doom.
Look
But
how many
maybe I'm wrong.
WrestleManias he's been.
Maybe
Don't know
he
why that's
wasn't.
showing as movies, but
Maybe there was just another guy. Doesn't
Have I
he
just
look? Doesn't he look like a
misappropriated
guy?
the wrong. I'm sure there's a line where he refers to a god.
He looks like the big guy from Temple of Doom, but maybe it's just me.
that was ages ago, right? Is Temple of
Yeah.
Doom one of the original trilogy?
Yeah.
Oh,
maybe,
yeah, he's not that old.
Maybe it was his friend. I don't know.
Anyway, the Great Khali killed a guy. That's the important thing to remember here.
Yeah.
We're just Googling, but carry on. Yeah, prepare to meet Khali is a line from Indiana Jones, but
That's
probably
not what
not
I
the
was-
Great
Then they also say
Khali.
Kali Ma as well.
Possibly.
Is that the same movie?
Maybe.
Could be, yeah.
Because he's trying to kill he's trying to kill again. That's my point. Anyway, the main thing I played is Lost Records Bloom and Rage Tape 2. I finished that. You'll be pleased to know that it does absolutely nothing to wrap up any of the mysteries that I thought were most interesting about the game.
Oh.
And I walked away thinking, why have you not told me what's going on? I'm really cross.
Oh, man.
So that game is sort of a big fart noise, really, which I'm kind of disappointed to report.
Sorry,
because
what game was this? I missed.
Bloom and Rage Tape 2.
Right.
Finished it.
I see.
I was really hoping, because I was saying to Ashton last week, that the supernatural stuff should have been the most interesting part of it. In fact, it was the most interesting part of it. And it should have been the focal point. Like, they should have been asking, why is there this big glowing pit? What's going on? And they didn't.
Right.
They didn't. They never addressed it. No questions were answered. I'm a bit miffed, to be honest.
Did you make just the wrong decisions?
Nope. Nope, because afterwards
we've been spurned before.
I did some Googling and I was reading some reviews actually. And
Right.
someone who reviewed the first tape as 8 out of 10, which is lunacy, quite frankly, reviewed the second tape and said that it basically made all the points that I've been making about how I have this question, I have this question, I have this question, and it hasn't answered a single one of them. And I don't know why they would even bring these things up if they weren't intending to actually address any of them. And it's not even in a sort of esoteric, like, oh, make up your own theories about what's going on. It's like, you just didn't give us enough information. It was like a complete afterthought that this
Yeah.
stuff was
Hate
even
that.
in there. It was really annoying. I'm really sad for them because I don't feel like anyone's talking about it. And, there was, as you said last week, that big delay, not a huge delay,
was
but
only a month, but
the
still.
fact that the tape 2 wasn't ready to go straight after tape 1 or within a reasonable amount of time, and it hasn't been received that well either. I worry for them as a studio, and I worry for this genre of game, which I'm a big fan of. And I'm glad I played it, but I just, between that and the most recent Life is Strange, I feel very let down by this genre, and I'm hoping that someone can release something that scratches that itch soon.
They're really good at like the sort of naturalistic conversations between people and like building those relationships and giving you characters that you're like interested in learning more about, but they just seemingly don't really know how to wrap up their stories anymore or how to do something interesting with the narratives.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
Yeah.
It is a shame. So I was a bit gutted by that. But once I finished that, I've sort of been spinning my wheels because I was thinking, is Oblivion coming out this week? Is Oblivion? And it did.
is.
And I bought it and I downloaded it. And then I was so sleepy and I haven't had a chance to play it. And then I'm going on holiday. So I don't know. I don't really know how much time I'm going to be able to give to it. But that is my focus. I don't have anything else on my plate at the moment. I feel very, very fortunate in that regard. So that's what I've been playing.
But now it's time for question 2. I keep looking at the monitor because I've just put my fringe in my ponytail, and when I look at the monitor, I'm like, has my forehead always been that massive? I think it's just like I've not had my
It
fringe
looks
down in
fine.
ages. My fringe was getting in my eyes and it was annoying me, so I put it up, and now I've got massive forehead. This question comes
We can do
from
the same if you like.
Nat West. Thanks, guys.
Comes from Nat West. Thanks. I didn't notice that.
I literally can't. I've in my head. I'm gonna have to put my hand here. It's really freaking me out.
No.
Hey Bap, you are peak Bap today. Be wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
The licensing of the IP for Warhammer Total War has been so successful that it has caused the return of a previously mothballed tabletop game and creative content only available in the game, now being shown for pre-order as plastic miniatures to great fanfare at the Las Vegas Open 25. Can building a fan base in gaming improve the fortunes of other traditional hobbies / games / lifestyles?
Thanks.
Thank you,
Thanks.
NatWest.
NatWest, thanks.
Thanks.
Do you think they're from NatWest?
Yeah.
The bank.
I can only assume.
It is actually
It's the bank.
It's the bank.
Mr.
What's the guy's
NatWest.
name that was in all the adverts?
Howard.
Howard, yeah.
Howard
from
Brown,
NatWest.
I think, was his
Remember
name.
Howard?
No.
You'd recognise
Who
Howard.
gives you extra? Who? Or was that Halifax?
Oh, that's Halifax.
Yeah.
It's Howard from Halifax.
I don't know
Sorry,
who
Ashton.
you're talking about.
He's related to Charlie Shaw.
Yeah, he is.
Not another one.
I think for sure, as demonstrated by the question, video games can improve the fortune of other hobbies. I've got some that, I mean, whether they're traditional hobbies / games / lifestyles is a bit questionable, but I mean, certainly I know that Dungeons and Dragons was some people were kind of introduced to that or finally tempted to give it a go in the wake of Baldur's Gate, the most recent Baldur's Gate game, or probably all the Baldur's Gate games over history have encouraged a few people to give it a go, but certainly Baldur's Gate 3. I definitely got a skateboard as a child because of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Hell yeah.
Never really learned to use it. Definitely couldn't do any tricks. Couldn't even really just go
I
on
bet it looked cool in the corner of your room, though.
Yeah, sure
I
did.
had a skateboard too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Certainly for me, I was not exposed to any live action skater culture on TV because I didn't have the channels that typically showed that kind of thing. So my only kind of knowledge of skateboarding was playing it on a console, and I was like, I want one, and I didn't really use it. Similarly, kind of. When me and my siblings had Jet Set Radio Future as kids on our Xbox or possibly 360, original Xbox, I think, they were just like these cool, like very stylized rollerbladers who were going around. They were like graffitiing the city and stuff. I didn't take up graffiti, don't worry. But we kind of just built like a little clubhouse in our garage, by which I mean we put some like chairs in there and we had like a bit of a punching bag. But it kind of just felt like, yeah, we're like, this is cool.
This is the same.
And we're a gang. And we're gonna, watch out, because we're cool. We're cool. We're so cool. We've got a cool clubhouse.
What are they watching out for?
For how cool we
So
are.
they're really cool.
Look out.
You might get
we're cool.
a contact chill.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, really, when you look at it, that's just, we played a video game that had a lot of style to it and then chose to spend some time sitting in the garage.
It made you not play the game.
Yeah, but there you go. And then I think also just generally, like, it can develop interests in subjects, not even just in hobbies, but you might play God of War and think, I didn't know much about this mythology. I might this is interesting. I'm going to read about it, or play other games even in that genre. So it's not quite in the same scope of the question, but genres and things can be introduced to people. Like maybe you'll play Red Dead Redemption and think, I've not actually seen a lot of Western films. I might watch a few Westerns and see how I feel about them.
Yeah. I also think we see a lot of hobbies being made into games, especially like cozy games. Like you see a lot
Packing
of like
boxes.
packing boxes.
My favourite.
Yeah, delivering mail.
Jet washing.
That's my favorite hobby. Jet washing. But yeah, but also things like botany.
Botany.
There's lots of plant games, keeping plants alive. There's lots of cooking games. There's a video, I can't remember what his name is now, sorry, where he played every Cooking Mama game and then tried to create a recipe along with Cooking Mama to see.
Eddie
Burback. Yeah.
Botany.
Botany. But yes, he did a video like that, and that was quite good about whether it could help him learn to cook, which is very funny.
Let's prove it, isn't it? Let's just prove
pretty
it.
much. But I do think that there is lots of games that inspire other sort of like offshoots of culture. But I do also think it's used sometimes in a bad way, like when you see like the
Burback.
yeah. When you see the the army at every single gaming
yeah.
convention because they're like, kids love Call of Duty.
Come die for us.
Join the actual army. It's exactly the same as sitting in your house and shouting at people down the headset. So yeah, I do think like things like, what am I thinking? Ghost of Tsushima inspire a lot of people to get into like looking at Japan because they're like, wow, this looks amazing here. A lot of Persona games and sort of those anime style games inspire people to get into anime and again get obsessed with Japan. The weebs love it. Love it.
They do.
Wouldn't get me doing that.
No, I'd never go to Japan, not me. But yeah, I do think it's quite common that these things happen, and I think it's a really good thing because I think when games positively translate into the rest of the world, it's really a good thing for a lot of places. So yeah, I think it's a good thing, and I think it's nice when it does happen.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. I'd argue that in the case of Warhammer, it's definitely more symbiotic than for say like another franchise like Star Wars, for example. That being Total War, for example, I imagine, having not played it, Warhammer Total War probably uses exactly the same units as the miniatures in a lot of cases. Yeah. So that is way more closely related than probably any other example we could give. But yeah, you see it all the time. Sometimes like things just need time to get popular, even if in their like perhaps original form they weren't particularly well conceived of and didn't really strike a chord. It's not quite the same, but you go back and you look at like in regards to video games, the original version of a now mega popular franchise, and you'll often find it going for big bucks, you know, sealed copies or merch or bits of tat or press kit, for example. You know, it just needs some time to get popular and grow the audience. Similarly, if you look at things that like even remakes or remasters, as we're going to talk about later, they'll find ways to maybe include things that were not hugely popular to begin with and sort of pay homage to them as a wink and a nod, like the remaster of Oblivion has the Horse Armor DLC in it, for example. Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled included a lot of characters that no one would even think of. Big Norm, for example, who was not popular in a not popular game, but they brought him forward and everyone was like, it's Big Norm. Do you remember Big Norm? He's back.
I missed him.
Similar, you know, you get it all the time in remasters and remakes. The Demon Souls one introduced armor that was previously not wearable, that people, you know, had been asking about, that was like some boss armor and things. So yeah, it's nice to see, and particularly in the case of Warhammer, it's the popularity of that franchise is unbelievable. The fact that it is the best example of a franchise that straddles video games and miniatures, and probably the Venn diagram is almost a circle. You know, like that audience is almost exactly the same. It's very impressive, and also as you said, Baldur's Gate 3 and D&D, like that's a very similar audience, whether people are being brought over or were always there as D&D fans. So yeah, it's great. It's great to see. It's nice to see,
and even modern hobbies as well. So you might be, for example, a game like, say, an Elder Scrolls might get you into modding for the first time because you think, like people are making these mods, maybe I could learn how to do that, or get you into coding because you want to make your own indie game or something. Or if there's a game that is kind of almost doubles as a tool as much as a game, so something like Source Filmmaker, you know, is kind of a game in a sense. It uses a game engine, and that might be what gets you into sort of animation and that kind of thing. So yeah, even in a modern sense, not just with traditional, more older hobbies.
And music as well.
Yeah, music.
Certain games have soundtracks from the 80s, and then suddenly you're like, actually, these music bangs, and then you start listening to a purely 80s soundtrack for the next 6 months, and it becomes your whole personality.
Yeah, or making music as well.
Yeah.
Like I had a PS1 game that was called Music 2000, and it was literally just a music making game, like a synthesizer thing that traditionally would be on a PC rather than a console. But you know, that was the first time I ever started like messing around with a synthesizer, and then I still do it occasionally today. So that's a PS1 game.
We played WWE 2K22 once and thought we could be actual wrestlers. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Exactly.
And it worked out great.
I watched
too.
that video quite recently, actually, and I was like, God, that was crazy.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's time. Oh my God. Do you smell that?
Oh, it's real stinky peculiar.
I'm just saying it didn't smell this bad when Peter was on holiday.
No, well,
Jesus.
maybe I left
the
something
holiday
here.
clops for
Did I-
you.
Oh God, I left my lunch here 3 weeks
Oh,
ago.
Peter.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, also, it's stinky peculiar. It's weird.
It's weird
With
news.
you.
It's weird news time. Time for some weird video game news. Remember, if you want to submit some weird video game news to us, you can do so under the relevant social media post that goes out on a Wednesday. However, if you'd like to guarantee a shout out at this point in the podcast, you need to go to patreon.com/Team TripleJump, support us at the appropriate tier, and become a podcast producer just like
Michael Pendlebury,
Andy Scott,
Eric Sue,
Blake Thomas,
Chip Thompson's Thumbs,
Nicole Hansen,
Great Giggity,
GY Goliath.
Gabrielle Philippink,
and Big Money, Bobby Vegas.
It's much
Thank
better
you.
with two people, isn't it?
Yeah, thank you so much, podcast producers. We should say, as you may have worked out, because we referred to the Oblivion Remaster as coming out yesterday, we are recording a day early. However, we were able to get the post out on a Tuesday instead of a Wednesday. And so thank you everyone who submitted weird news.
Yep.
Peter, you got some weird news?
We've got some weird news here that was submitted by Jeremy M at SlyZappy15 on Twitter.
Whoa.
Cool.
And it's according to space.com,
Spice.
the official home
Space.
of space. The headline is...
Where's he going? What's he doing?
There he is. Jar
Oh.
Jar.
User in Big Doo-Doo now as Darth Jar Jar makes his way to Fortnite in the new Star Wars collaboration.
Come on.
We're in Big Doo-Doo.
That's
this
what we
time.
wanted.
Yeah.
User.
The subheading says the next Fortnite X Star Wars collaboration will bring. I now have to agree to privacy after halfway reading through that. New content to Epic Games' hit online multiplayer game, including Starfighters, Darth Jar Jar, and a new live event.
Darth Jar Jar.
Begun, the Fortnite war has, starts the article. Just ahead of Star Wars Day 2025, Epic Games' massive online game will receive a new Star Wars-themed season, which will include new playable content and more than a few surprising cameos. While many of the upcoming Star Wars video games are shaping up to be astounding, it's hard to imagine a real scenario in which...
Astounding.
That's what it says. It's hard to imagine a real scenario in which the success of these Fortnite X Star Wars collaborations is topped. How is that normally said? When there's... Cross? Is it cross?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
cross.
so.
Okay.
I honestly don't think I ever read the cross. I'm like Fortnite Star Wars collaboration.
Yeah, I mean, Fortnite Star Wars, that also works, but...
Or is it Fortnite?
Kissing Star Wars.
Yeah. This year at Star Wars Celebration, it was revealed the new season centered on the galaxy far, far away is introducing memed into existence Sith Lord Darth Jar Jar. Of course, his showing up in Fortnite and an animated Lego special doesn't make him canon, but it's shocking nonetheless to see Lucasfilm fully embrace a long-running fandom joke. To get a proper taste of what's coming to Fortnite on May the 2nd, check out the explosive teaser trailer below. Alongside Darth Jar Jar...
Astounding.
Alongside Darth Jar Jar, there will be more iconic characters like Emperor Palpatine and all-new mashup Wookiee Cuddle Team Leader. Whatever that means. Separately, you'll be able to grab Mace Windu from the store, and it remains to be seen whether Darth Jar Jar, in his darkest form, will be part of the pass or be tied to the store or an in-game event. And then there'll be Starfighters, and I think there's you can get Mandalorian, which I think this was in just after it had been announced, but I think there was speculation that you'd be able to customize the Mandalorian character, so it's not a specific one, and I think maybe there's different armor pieces or skins or something.
Okay.
That may have now been disproven, but I did see that reported at the time. But there you go, Darth Jar Jar, who actually, as it said in the article, did make it into a Lego animation recently on Disney Plus, is now also going to be playable or feature in some way in Fortnite.
That's great.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have some weird news. It was submitted by Jens Herman on Facebook by Zach Sveisen at Kotaku. Marvel Rivals will soon be getting swimsuit skins.
Oh,
It's already too horny.
This summer, you might be able to buy some bikinis and swim trunks for your favourite heroes. Marvel announced that soon swimsuit-themed skins will be appearing in popular free-to-play shooter Marvel Rivals. Do you hear that loud noise? That's the sound of Marvel Rivals' developer, NetEase, installing new vaults to hold all the money they're about to make. They also are charging, it's not in this article, they're also charging money for you to change the colour of the skins.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Marvel announced that in July, it's bringing back its Swimsuit Special. This was an ongoing series of special edition comic books released in the 90s that depicted superheroes and villains wearing bikinis, swimming trunks, and Speedos. This series was pure fan service, but over time, as it added more gender parity, or is it parity? I don't know. It was sometimes celebrated by critics in how it equally sexualized women and men. The last swimsuit special edition arrived in 1995. It's possible Marvel opted to bring it back after seeing DC do its own assortment of swimsuit-themed summer artwork in 2024. But if you're a fan of Marvel Rivals, you'll be excited to announce that the swimsuit special announcement will include designs for new costumes coming to Marvel Rivals. So yeah, if you want to be horny about it.
I've got a friend who's a filthy little Marvel Rivals freak. It's all he plays, and this is him to a T. He already sends skins.
I'm sitting right here. You can just
Peter already sends me photos of skins that are in game, and it's like, this character is not wearing anything at all. Why swimsuits? Sure.
Yeah.
So
what's the difference?
They already have some of the characters are already.
Do you want to see?
Like,
you send me the
not wearing
photos.
Can I see the photo that your friend me sent you?
Yeah.
Yes. Hang on. So there's
But
a Sue Storm one that people
I was going to
their mind over.
some of the like Sue Storm ones I've seen that are really, really.
I'm not
saucy.
aware of. So. The swimsuit's going to be better or worse than what already exists? Is my question.
Same.
Less sexualized, but probably. I mean, that's so low. No, it's not that low quality actually, because for God's sake, Google. That is, it's so blurry. I don't even want to show. Right, cool. That's it's just like basically leather.
Oh yeah,
leather gear.
Very sexualized.
Yeah, which is. Different?
Well, they've
from
all
a
got.
swimsuit?
All the women have got hips for days.
They do.
I would imagine it would be that, but also she's in a bikini top as well.
Yeah, it probably just will be.
You'll
the
see
same
more skin,
bottoms.
but I don't know whether is that more or less sexual. It's difficult to
I
say
think
because there's some
it really is in the eye of the beholder.
Kinky suits out there already.
Yeah,
it is. Yeah,
they're so horny. They're also all the Marvel Rival players are so horny. Don't tell me you enjoy the game because that's a lie. Because you die over and over again.
It's because they're so horny because all they do is play Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, it's just a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
Filthy little freaks.
They come hand in hand.
Is that it? That's your weird news?
That was my weird news.
Okay, I got some weird news as well. This is from, I've closed my emails. It's from Lloyd Williams at LloydsW90 on Twitter. Random! Paul Rudd got a real kick out of reuniting with Nintendo for new commercial. This is by Alana Hayes at Nintendo Live.
I didn't like the way he looked in this video.
Did you not like his hair?
I don't like the way his hair looks.
That's fair. I was a bit confused by his hair.
It sort of freaked me out when I saw him.
Have you seen it, Peter?
I don't think so.
Okay, there we are. He's got sort of floppy hair.
Oh, yeah.
A bit foppish.
I'm not aware of I don't know what the context is of him reuniting with.
Well, luckily Ben's got.
I'm going to tell you. Yeah. Except it starts with, if you haven't seen the new Nintendo Switch 2 commercial featuring Paul Rudd, where have you been?
I haven't
been
seen
in the Cotswolds.
I haven't seen it, and I've been right here.
It's a delightful throwback to one of the Ant-Man and Anchorman actors' first ever acting roles, an SNES commercial from 1991.
Oh.
It's daft, it's silly, and we didn't think we could love Rudd anymore. So basically this SNES commercial, it's similar to, isn't there one that's got the guy who was in Breaking Bad?
Jesse Pinkman.
Yes. What's he called? What's the actor's name?
I have no idea.
Don't know.
I didn't even know that was the character's name.
Jesse Pinkman is correct. That's who I was talking about. So yes, him.
I don't know what his name is.
Well, he was in an advert, I think, for the internet back in the day, and people always show it like it's a 90s advert for like surfing the web, and he's going, "It's surfing time," or something like that. That's not it.
An advert for the internet is crazy.
Yeah, it used to come on CDs. Anyway, it was basically the same, but for him, where he's massively overacting, and because it's grungy and 90s, he's like in this sort of like decrepit car park, and he puts the SNES cartridge in, and lightning comes off, and he's like, "Whoa!"
Is this him as a
video
sort of a
games.
teenager?
Yeah, it is.
Right, yeah.
He's now 56.
Right.
And they basically recreated it, but for the Switch too.
Right.
So he's like dressed the same in the same horrible fashion and stuff
Is that
like
why
that.
his hair's long? Is it a wig?
I don't know. If
Will
that's
you wear
just his hair.
wigs?
So,
When will you wear
When will
wigs?
you wear wigs?
following the commercial's re-release, IGN published an interview with the actor who talked about reuniting with Nintendo 34 years after their first partnership. So he was 22. There's your answer. Well, Nintendo reached out to me, Rod told IGN's Brian Altano, saying that he got a real kick out of this idea to revisit the original commercial. I just thought that this idea they had about redoing it was really funny and it would be fun, and it just kind of came about like that. After chatting about the questionable fashion choices in the 1991 SNES ad, which Rudd and Nintendo have replicated in the 2025 revamp, Altano asks Rudd if the new commercial made him miss the 90s. Rudd laughs, ha 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 ha, and says, I think it made me nostalgic in all of the right ways, which we'd say is a success, and exactly how the commercial made us feel. It continues on, but basically I thought the weirdest thing was the fact that they'd recreated the advert at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd recommend you go look it up. It's a good advert. He's just sort of
What
like,
is it?
the Switch 2, whoa, video games are amazing. And that's kind of how it goes.
But the Switch doesn't quite have the same kind of
Vibe.
You can't slam a cartridge
vibes.
into
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Yeah, in a derelict car park. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you could play it there without a power source. That's
True.
that's misleading on the part of the SNES. What are they plugged into?
Yeah.
Maybe
Needed
the-
to lug
the
a
car.
TV out there. The car
The like cigarette slot.
could have been. Yeah, that's true. I can't remember exactly how the advert goes. Maybe it was struck by lightning. Maybe he's at like a drive-in cinema and he's playing it like on the screen. I can't remember, but I have seen it. We used it in the
games
full history of video games and maybe the launch games trailer as well. Yeah, it's just such a good advert, and because it's got Rudd in it, it's very highly preserved in sort of a high quality. She's ready. She's waiting for
I keep
permission.
thinking you're going to end the sentence and then you keep talking. So I
And
just
so
wasn't
what we'll do
sure.
next is we're going to move on to asking Peter about what he thinks of the advert.
Yeah, I mean, I've not seen it.
It's a big discussion. Oh. It's big discussion time for the big video game discussion that this week comes courtesy of Big
Meh.
Money Bobby Vegas. Hi, Bap.
Hi.
Greetings from the past. By the time you read this, the Oblivion Remaster will have been released. Have you played it?
Yes.
No.
No,
How is it?
Well, I'll tell you that in a bit.
don't know.
I don't know. Are there significant quality of life improvements, or are we just looking at a fresh coat of paint?
No, not that.
We'll tell you in a minute. Has it reignited your excitement for Elder Scrolls 6?
No.
Wasn't there to begin with.
Sending best wishes from the yacht in Monaco, your air horn king Bumbov. Me. So just a couple of things right off the bat. This was announced yesterday in a stream. $49.99 and pounds for the base edition, with the deluxe edition releasing for $59.99. After 2 hours, within 2 hours on Steam, 100,000 concurrent players.
Wow. I accidentally bought the deluxe edition. And
So did I.
Had to get a refund from
Oh, did you?
PlayStation. Yeah. I was like, I'm not paying 10 quid because you get all the DLC with the standard.
Akatosh armor sets and weapons. I don't know why I did two fingers for that. Mayrune's Dagon armor set and weapons, and digital art book and soundtrack app. That's what you get.
Yeah, that's what
you
get. I
pay
was like,
for.
I'm not paying a tenner for that. So I went on to PlayStation Chat, which was very quick, actually, and they refunded it immediately.
How many people accidentally did it, do you think?
Well, there were 11 people in the queue ahead of me on the chat, which obviously could have been there for a multitude of reasons.
were all there
I
for
think
that
they were
exact
all
reason.
there because they did the
Yeah.
same thing. The fact that we both did it kind of tells
Yeah.
me that probably a lot.
I've just sort of eaten it now.
Yeah.
I split the cost with a friend anyway because we share accounts. So anyway, I've got some information here. I'm not going to do all of it, but this is from Push Square, written by Robert Ramsey. It's sort of a list of things that, because it was shadow dropped, no one had review copies, so they're sort of updating this list as they go in terms of what's new and what's changed. Graphics: a total graphical overhaul built on Unreal Engine 5, completely new character models. Each race is more clearly defined in terms of physical appearance. There are new enemy models, new environmental assets, new equipment models, a new dynamic lighting system, which we've all seen, looks lovely, new spell and magic animations, improved weather effects, and new loading screen art. Gameplay-wise, you've got completely new moving animations, much improved third-person camera, improved third-person controls. You can now sprint. New combat animations, new on-hit animations to give combat more impact. Improved aiming with bows. Enemy movement speed seems to have been reduced to give combat a more weighted feel. The compass now shows the distance to your current objective marker instead of just the direction. And there is now an auto-aim toggle in the options menu. Character progression-wise, there's the new character creator with completely new models, of course. The character creator now includes a wide range of eye colors, skin colors, bless you, and hair colors. You can now choose an origin for your character. There's an overhauled leveling system. Enemy scaling has been toned down. Audio-wise, you've got new voice work across the game. Some characters have been recast, while most others keep their original voices. Higher quality soundtrack, new combat sound effects, new environmental sound effects, including birdsong and weather. NPC voices and other sound effects are now muffled by walls, doors, etc. And NPC voices now have echo applied to them inside of large buildings, which sounds mental that wasn't in there originally, but there we are. UI-wise, you've got an overhauled menus with better visibility, new user interface and gameplay. Menu shortcuts are assigned to the D-pad. The world's map clarity has been improved with more noticeable icons. The dialogue minigame still functions in the same way, but the wheel is easier to understand visually, and repeated attempts at persuasion result in coloured indications of the character's preferences.
Does it immediately after a single attempt? It then colours all the preferences. Yeah.
And finally, you've got new accessibility features, difficulty slider, additional autosaves. Autosaves can be toggled on for various things, and full trophy support on PlayStation. The PS3 version did not have trophy support back in the day.
Hey guys,
Yes.
I don't know about you, but I don't think that that's a remaster.
It's not a remaster.
I don't know why they've not called it a remake. We have had this discussion 1,000 and a million times, and the world is never going to know the answer. What the hell is the difference between a remaster and a remake? And why does nobody seem to agree on what it is? Because this is not a remaster.
No.
So, Devil's Avocado time, I get their meaning in that it's built on the skeleton of the original game. And while they have, it's the Ship of Theseus thing, sort of, but while they have basically overhauled everything, it is built on a lot of the original stuff. So it's technically not from a ground up remake, which means I think we need a third term, because calling it a remaster, Peter and I, we're Oblivion sickos, right?
Yep.
If they announced the Oblivion remaster and we didn't see it and it came out, I think we would both assume that it's just Oblivion, but they've got it running at 4K 60 and they've re-released it on contemporary hardware.
Maybe some textures look a bit sharper.
We would buy that. That's fine. That's a remaster. I think calling this a remaster, while technically correct potentially, is a massive disservice to it.
Yeah.
If this was sight unseen and someone described it as a remaster, I think that just doesn't do it justice, does it?
Yeah. I mean, it is difficult. I get where you're coming from in terms of Devil's Avocado. It is built on the original skeleton of the old game. But then if that's how you want to get into the definition of, well, as long as it's built on the skeleton, no matter how much overhauling and rebuilding of certain assets is done, you could argue that something like the Spyro Reignited trilogy
I was going to say that.
is a remaster, in that I'm pretty sure they used I don't even know what the terminology is, but some kind of triangle polygon mesh of levels. Like they pulled the mesh from the original games and then they iterated on that. Where's the line? I think there's just so much has been done to this, even if it is built on that skeleton, that it is kind of a remake.
No. I don't know if Bethesda just didn't want to call it a remake, because it's like, sort of, when you call it a remake, it's almost a whole new game.
Yeah.
When you call it a remaster, you can just say you've made it more modern.
I think we do need a third term.
Yeah.
What if they just sidestepped, because everyone's going to refer to it as the remake, or everyone was already doing that, and I think people will continue to do that. Why not just sidestep all of that, remove the remaster remake from the equation, let other people make up their mind, and just put a subtitle on the end of it?
Yeah.
Oblivion
Spyro,
End Times Edition.
Yeah.
or Spyro's Reignited. It's not technically labeled remaster or remake.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. That's how you
and I mean, obviously Final Fantasy VII is a different thing, but you've got remake, rebirth. So, they've at least tried to diversify what they're calling it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Peter, you've played it.
I have.
How much time have you had with it so far?
I probably played 2 or 3 hours last night, I think. I mean, you've obviously listed a bunch of the stuff there that all the key points. Definitely, I really like the new animations. It's like almost got me tempted to play it in third person from at least for some of the time. I think ultimately I probably will still play in first person, but I have spent some time in third person, which in the original game it wasn't worth doing.
Just sort of seeing someone wobbling.
Well,
through
the way they used to jump,
like
they were suddenly in the space of about 3 frames. They were just hanging in the air, and then they would hit the ground
floating.
again.
And you'd have to jump across the environment instead of running because that's how you leveled up your acrobatics skills. So you would just jump everywhere.
But the animation, the improved animations on your character and elsewhere do look really good. The combat feels better, even though actually at its heart it is still Oblivion /////. It is still that, but it does feel better, which is a lot nicer. I don't even know if you mentioned it in your notes there, but the fatigue system has changed a bit. So it used to be that if your fatigue gets down to 0, it was like it was very easy then for enemies to knock you over onto the ground, and it would take you ages to stand up again. That now apparently is no longer the case in terms of it being so easy for them to do that. So I think it's now more a case of if your fatigue gets down to the bottom of the bar, I can't remember actually exactly what it does, but it just affects your kind of combat effectiveness overall. I'm really enjoying it. The Origins thing that you mentioned, it's in the character creator, so you pick a race, and then each race has 2 origins to choose from, like where in that place you were from. So you can either say, "Oh yeah, I'm from Skyrim because I'm a Nord, and I grew up either Bimbletown, or
Bobbletown,
or Sexyton.
Wow.
And that will give you like I think +1 point in a certain stat. So it just gives you a slight.
I was going to say, has anyone brought it up in a conversation yet, or is it just?
No, I don't think anyone. Certainly not for me. No one's mentioned my origins, but it's just to give you an extra bit of like character. Like build, changing your build essentially. So I'm having a really good time. I think it looks really nice. I do think that it's not quite as saturated and colorful as I'd like. It's got a bit of that modern video game sort of dirty haze to it, which I get is a bit more kind of realistic looking. It's a bit more grounded, but it is a kind of an enchanting fantasy game, and I do a little bit kind of miss the very punchy colors.
Avowed was really colourful.
Exactly. So
it was also really boring. So,
that's one thing that I'm a bit that I do miss a little bit visually. But apart from that, it does look stunning. Like the more I've been playing it, I've been thinking this looks really good generally, just in terms of fidelity, but also it's still in a different way. It's not quite photorealistic. It's got like it almost looks just a tiny little bit
like Avowed.
Like it might be kind of clay or something. It kind of feels a bit tactile in a really nice way. So it's still in its own way has a kind of slightly different fantasy-esque visual style to it. I have had a couple of buggy moments.
Good ones or bad ones?
Well, one of them was funny. And I guess maybe I could see it happening in the original game. I don't think if you played the most up-to-date build of the original that such a bug would take place. I think this is very much a symptom of it being a new game, in quotes. But I'll tell you both of those. So one bug that I have seen other people report that hopefully will be patched very soon is that there's just this weird glitch with the action button, which is that when you want to pick up an item, it wasn't doing it at first, but after about an hour, if I try and pick up something off the desk, all that happens is it just like moves like that. It just like turns a bit, and you have to keep pressing it, and then eventually you'll just pick it up. But like,
weird.
Yeah. So it's like the pickup button just doesn't work properly.
On that point, sorry to cut you off halfway through.
Yeah.
I hadn't really thought about it, but there's so much that goes into remastering / remaking a game like this. Are there still full physics on everything in a room? Like you can jump up on the table and kick them everywhere and like pick things up, and like if you're trying to steal from a shop, can you pick some or kick it off the table into a corner and then crouch down and steal it when no one can see you?
I've not tried kicking something off the table, but certainly the fact that like everything has free movement, has that physics to it. And but that glitch also persists on trying to loot a body. So if there's a body on the floor or a chest or something, and you want to just press A or X or whatever to get into it and look inside it, the body will just like shift ever so slightly, and you can't, and you just have to keep pressing it, and the body's just
still twitching,
moving and twitching, and then eventually you'll get in there. It just takes sometimes it takes 5 attempts to open a container.
Weird.
So that's clearly just some kind of glitch that I suspect will be patched out pretty soon, hopefully.
Right.
I booted up the game to make Responsible Zoo Owner from the Vidiots days just for a laugh, and then I was going to restart and do it again for my own character. So I made that silly character, and then when I restarted the game, obviously the opening cutscene began playing a second time. And I was like, well, I've just seen this, and I tried to skip it, and just the word skip comes up in the bottom corner. But it doesn't do anything.
Okay.
There's no prompt to hold a button. I was pressing start and X and stuff. Clearly, they've just never tested skipping the cutscene.
Why would you want to skip it? So
Sure.
Patrick
Perfect.
Stewart.
Most people, I guess, they will watch it through the once and then play the entire game for hours and hours and hours. So that probably won't even be counted.
Of my life.
Yeah. But the sort of funny glitch, but was still really bad, was that I'm a big Thieves Guild fan in these games. So I went to the waterfront where you have to wait until midnight or something, and you encounter the Thieves Guild recruiting new members. I went to the spot, I waited till midnight, and when I came out of the wait area, this is a kind of a civilian part of the Imperial City, right? A conjurer was there, which is just a type of random enemy you can meet in the wilderness, a bloke in mage robes. He summoned a scamp, and everyone in the area freaked the hell out. And not just because they were panicking because there was an enemy nearby, but they were every 1 second, everyone in perfect sync all at the same time started to say a line saying there's someone here, or look out, but they only did a quarter of a second of the line. So everyone in sync with different words goes, Matt. And then 1 second later, they would all say a different line and go, look at, and then nothing.
That's perfect, though. That's
funny.
Exactly what Oblivion. That's exactly what happened in Oblivion all the time.
Yeah. But they were just doing it on a loop, going like that. Everyone in sync in the whole area. The conjurer then ran into someone's house. They had to unlock the door because all the doors were locked, and the door just unlocked, and they went in. And I was like, oh, that was bad. Anyway, I guess that was just a random guy spawned here while I waited. So I reloaded my autosave, tried it again, and waited. The conjurer appeared again. I was like, oh my God, what's happening? So I had to go into a building and wait in there, and then come out of the front door, and then he wasn't there anymore.
That's so funny.
Wow.
It's a bit glitchy and janky. Some of those glitches,
as God intended.
Oh, as God intended, but I think some of these are brand new glitches that haven't just been carried over from the original. I think it's new jank, but
and that's why it's a remake.
Yeah,
that's exactly. They've remade new glitches.
We've added, that's a bullet point on here, new bugs.
New bugs and glitches.
But apart from those specific things, it does actually feel fairly stable. I've not had, weird. I've not had stability issues. I've not encountered holes in the world or anything too major. So yeah, it so far for me at least seems like it's stable-ish, and it looks great, and I'm having a really nice time.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
What did you think about it?
I haven't played it yet,
Well, no, but you've seen
I was really impressed. I was sort of doing other stuff at the same time, so I didn't have my full attention. But I think just seeing the towns populated, because from all the screens we've seen, we haven't really seen any characters yet. We've seen the back of a couple of archers or whatever, but seeing it all realized that way was kind of, I don't know, emotional in a weird way. This is such an important game to me and to so many other people as well. Me and my friends group chat, we've all bought it, and last night they were like, should we hop on the Discord and just chat while we're playing it? And I was like, God, that sounds great. It's just taken me back to that time in my life, and it looks great. Obviously, as we spoke about last week, I'm also a little worried about the lack of saturation in colors, because that's what I really like about it. but also I'm so excited to jump into it and easily just lose myself in it. And I do feel really sorry for Claire Obscure Expedition 33. A lot of people were saying that this was a bad idea if they were intending to release this week, to absolutely hamstring another admittedly different genre of RPG, but still an RPG.
A game that's also coming out on Game Pass as well.
It's going to get no press now.
Yeah.
Unless it gets 10s across the board, it simply isn't going to dominate the news cycle the way...
But it comes out tomorrow, so it's got
Right.
a lot of, work to do.
The public the gaming public consciousness is very much focused on Oblivion this week, and that sucks for them. It really does. And I truly hope it's good. To answer the question, though, we spoke about it a little bit last week about how whether or not this could potentially be a bad thing for Bethesda, in that it sort of highlights, or it draws attention to the fact that we haven't had an Elder Scrolls in a long time, or potentially introduces new features that they're actively not considering for the Elder Scrolls 6, and they're like, oh crap, actually this remake studio has done a better job than we're doing with the new one, and then they end up releasing, and it has unfavorable comparisons to a remaster of one of their older games. But I'm keen to hear what you think, Peter, because Ashton and I spoke about it at length last week. How you said no, this doesn't make you more excited for the Elder Scrolls?
This has made me feel like I now don't care for a while how long it takes to get the next Elder Scrolls, because this is not just Elder Scrolls generally, and I have an Elder Scrolls game to play, but it feels new enough that I think, exploring caves and dungeons and things that I will have explored before on previous playthroughs will still feel quite fresh. And, there are areas that do look certainly familiar, but feel quite new in different ways. Even just having like a few different voices in town, like for the most part, that is a really nice thing. I was a bit disappointed when I got to the Market District. I went into Slash and Smash, which is a big weapons shop. And I used to really like the way that the orc behind the counter, when you speak to him for the first time, I've got his line here.
Yep.
And I'll say it how he used to say it.
Okay.
Herbal Grow Orgulk knows you need axes and blunt weapons, big ones, so he makes them and sells them here. That's exactly how I said it. And then you would skip to the next line, and he would just go, Slash and Smash, like that, like really smug about his shop name.
Yeah.
The new guy just goes, Ogobro Orgak knows you need axes and blunt weapons, big ones, so he makes them and sells them here. Slash and Smash. It's like, no, you have to really slash and smash.
Can we camp it up a bit?
Yeah, so, but that's a kind of an exception. I think it is nice to wander around and just hear a few new voices, and there's enough in here that, it is a remake/remaster, but it will keep me satiated for a long time. The one downside is that certainly in the lead up to this news, I've not actually looked into whether this is still the case now that we know about it, but I was seeing online that there likely wasn't going to be as much modding capability for this, which I guess might partly be because of the engine change. So, I mean, I'm playing on console anyway, so modding is... I know that there has historically been mods now on console for Bethesda games, but it's more of a PC realm. So it wouldn't have affected me either way that much. But I know that for people who are playing this on PC, modding can be a huge part of a Bethesda RPG experience. And if it is indeed true that the modding capabilities of this are going to be a lot more restricted, then that's going to be... a bit of a shame for some people, I think.
It may be that they add it in later on down the line.
It won't take the community long to work out how
They'll
to-
start fixing things
Yeah,
and changing
I think
things,
so.
restoring old files, putting on that saturation filter that you said is
Yeah.
inevitable.
Yeah.
Someone will
Bring you back
change
that
the
orc
colors.
voice.
Absolutely. I'm trying not to echo the exact point that you made last week, Ashton, because I think it's bang on the money. But like them releasing this now, it does feel like a good move, because as we know, interstitial releases between bigger entries and franchises have been proven to be helpful in the past. Admittedly, there's not been quite as long a gap between Skyrim and this, and potentially the Elder Scrolls 6 as there was between Spider-Man and then Miles Morales and then 2. But yeah, they should do this. And it is quote unquote a shame. It's not. I'm very biased here, but it is a shame that this isn't a new game. But at the same time, it is different enough that it is clearly important to an awful lot of people.
Yeah.
And people are really excited for this. I do still maintain that if we could just lower our standards just a smidge, if Bethesda could lower their standards just a smidge and entrust another studio like Obsidian to work in their, admittedly, it's too late now, but for example, Fallout 4 came out in 2015. If they let Obsidian loose in the Fallout 4 engine and said, make Fallout, it was set in Boston, wasn't it? Make Fallout another city that's nearby, not New Vegas. Do that, release that in like 2017, 2018. Yeah, people will be like, oh, it looks a bit dated. But it's more Fallout. And they'll sell loads and people will be really excited about it.
Well, the rumor now is that, and it's purely like rumor, maybe based on one person saying, oh, well, this is what I've heard, but is that potentially we could be looking at a Fallout 3 in this style in the next, I don't know, few years, potentially. So that might be the next
I think when
step.
they know that they can bring a game from that engine into Unreal 5 and they know sort of relatively how to do it, it maybe becomes a lot easier than, you know, whatever that nonsense engine was.
The creation engine.
The creation
Horrible.
engine.
Yeah, I'd be totally up, again, very biased, I'd be totally up for a Fallout 3 remaster, but it's also a bit of a damning indictment about quite how far away they see the next Fallout game being, that this is the next step. I mean, it hasn't stopped, well, it has stopped Naughty Dog from doing other things, but, you know, it hasn't stopped other studios from, like, farming out remasters while they work on the next thing.
Yeah.
But it seems like, I think we know, who was it that developed this primarily? Because it was a partnership, wasn't it, between Bethesda and...
Can't remember
their names.
Oh, we've been talking about it for bloody weeks now, haven't we?
know,
I can't
it's
remember what
just
they're
left
called.
my brain.
But yeah, like I feel that they need to get better now that Xbox has such a huge fleet of studios. They need to get better about trusting their IP to different studios.
They seemed a good bunch as well in the video. I thought
they
seemed,
did.
You know, really passionate, enthusiastic.
She's nearly got it.
And they have done a great job
Yeah,
for the most part.
we're not necessarily saying that the
Virtuous.
Thank you. We're not necessarily saying that Fallout 5, for example, needs to be developed by a different studio. Well, if Bethesda's going to take 15 years to get there, then just give it to a different studio. It's not what I'm saying. I feel, as I'm sure they do quite strongly internally, that they should be the ones who work on the main entries. But there's no reason you can't have, you know, one of your 36 studios who are experts in different genres work on like a Halo Wars type thing. Or for example, just take that IP, put it in a different genre and do something interesting.
And or, you know, to remaster in the same style something like New Vegas. That people would lap that up. Maybe not quite as much as they will Oblivion, but certainly there's a huge cult following for that game.
Definitely is.
I agree with you there, Ben. Is like the kind of the emotional aspect of this release. It definitely, there was a moment where, because I listened to the soundtrack on Spotify from time to time anyway, so it's not like it's been that long since I've heard that music. But I was just wandering around the city, and one of those the peaceful exactly that was playing, and the sun was going down, and I thought, God, this is, you know, not to be too cringe about it, but it does feel like coming home after a long time, sort of. And it was like,
oh wow,
I was like, this is lovely, you know, and the combination of the music and just being in that place again, walking around, and having that fresh coat of paint to make it feel new and old, new and familiar. It was this really nice feeling, and I'm just looking forward to hours of it over the next few weeks.
Final question is, I
Cute.
suppose, Ashton Matthews, are
Yeah.
you remotely tempted?
I am a bit, but I don't think my PC will run it. So I have Game Pass, so I'm not going to buy it on PlayStation. But I don't have an Xbox, and I'm not sure my PC is powerful enough at this point to play it. So MB has installed it on his PC, and if it runs on his PC, then it might run on mine.
Right.
So that is the thing that I'm going to discover tonight. I mean, I already feel like I have a lot to play, but everyone's always talks about this game. You two love it. So I feel like an obligation to at least give it a go. And then if I don't like it, I'm just going to Just not mention it.
Just not
ever
mention it.
again.
So much of it is, well, I don't know actually, this might not be entirely true, but I think for some people, a lot of it is pinned on the nostalgia of it.
Yeah.
It is a great game, but it is also a very nostalgic thing. So it wouldn't be any reasonable person, and of course, everyone on the internet's really reasonable, would not hold it against you if you thought, it's not so much for me. Because if you didn't play it back in the day, you're not going to get as much out of it, I don't think.
Yeah.
I tell you what, the worst... I mean, that's an exaggeration, but a bad part of the opening experience is when you boot up the game, the very first thing that happens is it comes up with, obviously, the brightness setting and a couple of accessibility things. That's great. But the moment that appears on screen and you're fiddling around with the brightness logo, it's playing the menu music. It's going like, dun, dun.
So you don't get to see the menu.
Yeah, it used to be that like the logos would play and then just the word Oblivion would move into the background. It would perfectly time with the menu coming like blooming onto screen with the trumpets and stuff. You're just like messing around with like, subtitles. Do I want a background on my subtitles? And it's going duh, 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 duh. You're like,
They've ruined accessibility.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, absolutely.
Oblivion's gone woke.
It's like you're in the toilet and you can hear the opening credits playing of the movie you're going to watch. You're like, no!
No, those things should be in there, but I think they should have either had no music or some of the more ambient music in the background, and then start game, main theme,
there it
Oblivion logo. So it just felt like, oh no, I wanted to load the game and have that same thing that you used to get. But anyway,
sad.
If that's the worst you can say about it, it's a pretty good experience overall.
Yeah. How does PC Game Pass work with Steam Deck? Is it just totally divorced?
Yeah, you can't play Xbox games on Steam Deck. You'd have to buy it on Steam. It is Steam Deck compatible, but you have to buy it on Steam to play it on Steam Deck.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Well, I hope you get to give it a try. See how you find it, because Oblivion. I mean, my relationship with Skyrim is complicated. It has been dissected. We've discussed it before. But I still maintain that I think basically every gameplay mechanic that's in Oblivion was enhanced in Skyrim. And yet, I still prefer Oblivion to Skyrim
I agree
in a lot of
on
ways.
both.
So even though they've overhauled a lot of stuff, talking about you giving it a go for the first time, you may still think, flipping heck, this was done better in Skyrim. And it's like, yeah, it probably was, to be fair.
Although it does feel a lot closer now to Skyrim mechanically because of the improvements in combat and movement and things like that. Also, one other thing that I don't think was in your notes, I'm 99% sure this is new, is there is a spell that my character started with, and I assume every character starts with, called, it's not insight, but it's something like that, and it's basically just a marker that moves around and takes you to your quest thing. So you can cast the spell and a little floaty thing moves through the corridors.
And do you level up your conjuration or something while you do that?
Yeah, probably. I don't know. But that, I think, is a new spell. I think originally you only would start with healing and maybe fireball or something. Or whatever your race ability is. But yeah, so you can now follow a little floaty quest guide.
Oh, that's good.
It's handy.
Yeah.
Because I was a big fan of the leveling in Oblivion, in that I liked that you had to, when you leveled up enough skills, you had to sleep for the night to level up, like, and then when you woke up in the morning, you could, I really enjoyed that. But it definitely came with its drawbacks in that you did have to jump everywhere because otherwise you were wasting time not leveling up your acrobatics. And also you would just be conjuring healing spells. You'd be jumping and just conjuring healing spells on repeat over and over again just to level stuff up while you're moving around. It's like, this feels a bit silly.
Yeah.
I used to sort of not do that and just... to the detriment of my character, I could be leveling as I do this, but I tend to just wander around and heal when I need to heal, but not when I've got 100% HP.
Yeah, fair.
But that system still works. That's still there, I think. You can, sneak around in a room that has a single rat in it, and if you just cover enough ground, you will just level your sneak.
It's very hard not to do that in the opening dungeon. The temptation is there so badly. The rubber band over the left analog stick, just crouch behind that goblin, walking into the wall, and you just leave it for a few hours, and your sneak's 100.
Yeah, because your character has walked 60 miles against the wall,
in sneaking behind someone. Yeah. Great. I'll try not to do that. Well, of course, let us know what you think of the Oblivion remaster / remake. Does it make you excited for the Elder Scrolls 6? Are you going to get it? Are you enjoying it? Let us know in the comments below. There's a few places around the internet you can find us. Peter's going to tell you a couple of them now.
You can find us on youtube.com/Team TripleJump for video content and twitch.tv/Team TripleJump for most of our live streams, occasionally on YouTube for special occasions. And if you've got Amazon Prime, part of your bundle includes a Twitch sub, which you can redeem against us at no extra cost and get all the benefits of being a Twitch subscriber.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky, on all of which we are Team TripleJump. And if you'd like to support us, it's patreon.com/Team TripleJump.
Our website is triplejut.mp. There you can find links to everything that we do. And why not go to triplej.mup/video game to wish list a video game that we're working on right now. Also, 5-star review on your platform of choice. It helps. Something to do with Al Gore's Rhythms. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who's left us a lovely review. Just enough time to talk about this week's sponsor once again. Please, Peter Austin.
Coming from Naughty Dog and Bethesda soon. It's what you asked for, Ben. You
Yes.
want more half steps.
I do.
It's going to be the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered.
Brilliant. Still not a remake. They've just remastered it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. See you soon. Bye.